African Adam and Eve, per mtDNA, are the first modern-like humans to migrate out of Africa. They include the various types of black peoples: black Australoids, black Pygmoids, and black Negroids. Enter Europe, Asia, Siberia, Australia, Melanesia, and the Americas.
This is the 12 right here. These are the original peoples of this planet. They went all over the world. Read signs and symbols of primordial man.
Drop an exclusive on them.
Okay, this is Angkor Wat. You understand what I'm saying? If y'all here, y'all can Google that in. Angkor Wat, Cambodia, and then the heads will come up and you'll see the slants in their eyes, but they all got thick lips. These was the some of the early Africans in Asia, you understand, that had this particular persuasion. It was, you know, in different parts of the world, different Africans congregated. We are African, but in many areas we had Africans with the slant eyes, long before the Chinese. Ain't none of them ever had, every phenotype you see on this planet, we was able to produce before any of them red races came along. We produce them right here in our own race.
This is Buddha now. We know the color of the people, we saw them. Now you see the religion, you see the God of Asia. Even though we come the full spectrum of sizes of facial features and stuff, it's clear. This is Buddha now. We know the color of the people, we saw them. Now you see the religion, you see the God of Asia. This is Buddha now. We know the color of the people, we saw them. Now you see the religion, you see the God of Asia.
The Nagas is a representation of Nekbet, the female deity that protects the sultans, that is above their headdress. And they took this into India, China, Mesopotamia. You see it all over the world. But what must be known is that it first started in the Nile Valley. What you're looking at right here is Angkor Wat. Look at the water, the sacred lake, and then look at Wat Set. It's the same setup. And you got to see that. Now look at the pyramid in the back and then look at the obelisk. It is nothing but a Tekken. You got to understand that what you're seeing is Nile Valley science. All of the pyramid shapes in the architecture. This is a representation of the origins of where they came from. That they came up out of the Nile Valley, where the pyramid was the main type of structure that was designed for the sultans for a very long time. So they took this knowledge into West Asia, Mesopotamia, China, and India. So when you look at this, you're not just looking at something that's abstract. This is your history. But you got to trace it back to the Nile Valley. Even the mother, great mother, divine mother, mother and child that came up out of the Nile Valley as Aset and Horus. This even went into India and China. It is nothing but a representation of the great queen Aset and the holy virgin born son Heru. Another step pyramid design in the pagoda. The Chinese, Japanese, and West Asian pagoda. It is nothing but a form of the step pyramid. You got to understand this. So when Diodorus Siculus, who documents in the 1st century that the great god King Asa had went all around the world, in that same chapter, it states that he went all around the world and educated the world how to feed themselves. So this was documented in the 1st century AD. And then you got Jesse the Jerusalem Muslim and Father Kabbalah, another fake-ass scholar, the see-through Hebrew that want to come 3,000 years later and rewrite our history. You got what you call the Bushman. That's in Africa, some of the oldest people in Africa. The Khoikhoi. And they not dark, they yellow. So we need to go back and revisit that site. See them slants in their eyes? So every time you see a slant, you want to say it's Asian.
That's right. Come on.
Now, damn it, that's them slanted eyes existed long before there was an Asian.
Hey.
Or long before it was an Asian. We gave the slant eyes to them.
First stop, the place where it all began. The birthplace of every human being alive, Africa. Our genetic time machine has revealed a small surviving tribe, the direct descendants of our earliest ancestors. Unlike the rest of us, they stayed on here, the Kalahari Desert, Namibia. I'm here to find an extraordinary ancient tribe of people, the San Bushmen. Our research shows that their distant relatives left Africa. From them stemmed every color, creed, and nationality alive today. This is like a dream for me. Everything predicted in their blood seems to be written in their faces. It's like looking at a composite model of every face from around the world. The eye shape of East Asians, the high cheekbones of Mongolians, the mid-brown skin that could turn darker or lighter.
And what you're looking at right here, you can see the slant in their eyes. See the slant in their eyes? Some of them have slants in their eye. Okay, this is Angkor Wat. You understand what I'm saying? If y'all here, y'all can Google that in. Angkor Wat, Cambodia, and then the heads will come up and you'll see the slants in their eye. But they all got thick lips. These was the some of the early Africans in Asia, you understand, that had this particular persuasion. It was, you know, in different parts of the world, different Africans congregated. We are African, but in many areas we had Africans with the slant eyes, long before the Chinese. Ain't none of them ever had, every phenotype you see on this planet, we was able to produce before any of them red races came along. We produce them right here in our own race. Who are these people? These are the, see the Khoisan in southern Africa? You can see the slants in their eyes, okay? So, I mean, that man look like he could be over in Southwest Asia somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So all these phenotypes, all of these phenotypes are African. So most people will look at, see a lot of them, they look at that and then they automatically, they want to run to Asia. Well, that's some Asian, that's a goddamn lie, that's African. See them slants in their eyes? So every time you see a slant, you want to say it's Asian.
That's right. Come on.
Now, damn it, that's them slanted eyes existed long before there was an Asian.
Hey.
Or long before it was an Asian. We gave the slant eyes to them. see a slant, you want to say it's Asian.
That's right. Come on.
Now, damn it, them slanted eyes existed long before there was an Asian. Or long before it was an Asian. We gave the slant eyes to them. See them slants in their eyes? So every time you see a slant, you want to say it's Asian.
That's right. Come on.
Now, damn it, them slanted eyes existed long before there was an Asian. Or long before it was an Asian. We gave the slant eyes to them.
Genetic researchers say that they have found fresh evidence that the Chinese people are descended from Africa. The findings also add new weight to theories that all human life began in Africa. Academics from the University of Texas and their colleagues in China, the China Man say, studied 28 population groups in China and concluded that most, if not all, had their genetic origin in Africa. I don't even need this. It's saying what it needed to say.
You got what you call the Bushman. That's in Africa, some of the oldest people in Africa, the Khoi. And they not dark, they yellow. So we need to go back and revisit that science. The oldest statues of a human being are of the African woman. Now the white man choose to call these statues Venuses. One of the more ancient ones is called the Venus of Wildendorf. These are the oldest carvings of a human figure, and they're of a black woman. You see, she got back, got a lot of back there. You understand what I'm saying? That's our African woman. You understand what I'm saying? That's our African woman, and this one right here was found in China. Okay? So we was all over the world, and we left evidence. Okay? We're not just regurgitating some shit.
After that,
I'm meeting Professor Jin Li, one of China's leading geneticists. Recently, he led a project that set out to prove that the Chinese evolved independently from everyone else, from Homo erectus, here in China.
before the project started, I was hoping that I could identify or could be able to find the evidence that support independent origin of Chinese in China.
He singled out a male genetic marker which only appeared about 80,000 years ago in Africa. So any man who carries that marker must have recent African ancestors and can't be descended from the more ancient Asian Homo erectus. Jin took DNA from over 160 ethnic groups around East Asia. Over 12,000 samples. And so, what did you find?
We did not see any, even one single individual that could be considered as the descendant of the Homo erectus in China. Rather, everybody was a descendant of our ancestors from Africa. Rather, everybody was a descendant of our ancestors from Africa.
The result couldn't have been any clearer. And how did that make you feel as a Chinese person?
After I saw the evidences that we generate in my laboratory, I think we should all be happy with that, because after all, modern humans from different part of the world are not so different from each other, and we are very close relatives.
That's great, thank you. So Africa is the home of the Chinese. Jin Li's research confirms that their ancestors too were part of that tiny group that left the continent around 70,000 years ago. And genetics is also helping us understand how people spread through Asia. Our ancestors reached Siberia very early on, but there was another even earlier migration route, spreading along the coast of southern Asia and eventually reaching China.
When you look at the deities, which is Buddha, he got woolly hair. He don't have straight hair. Okay? That lets you know who the original man in Asia was. All right? You look at the deity will tell you that they were the ruling class. You see that, brother? You guys see that black corner hair? That's the same hair right here. I ain't through. Who's that? The original Indians were woolly haired Africans. Believe it or not, this brother's on the other side of here. He's in China. That's right. Okay? These brothers is in Southwest Asia.
From Malaysia.
De la Malaisie.
Next. From Indonesia.
D'Indonésie.
Next. From Cambodia.
Du Cambodge.
Next. From Vietnam.
Du Vietnam.
These are the black people of Southeast Asia.
Ce sont les gens de l'Asie du Sud.
Who have been there for thousands of years.
Qui vivent depuis des milliers d'années.
Black people are the original people of the planet Earth.
Les Noirs sont le peuple original.
And they are the first people to enter Asia.
Sur la Terre. Et ce sont les premiers à être entrés en Asie.
Next. A whole group of them.
Tout un groupe d'entre eux.
From Central Vietnam. From the Philippines.
Des Philippines.
These are the original people.
Ce sont les indigènes des Philippines.
Next. Look at this brother right here.
Regarde ce frère.
He even has a knife.
Il a un couteau.
He must be from the South Central Philippines.
Il vient de South Central, enfin des Philippines du Sud central.
That's a joke, brother. Next slide. Look at these are from the Philippines.
Des Philippines.
Look at these images. Now, if I didn't tell you where they were from,
si je ne vous avais pas dit d'où ils venaient,
I don't think that you would tell me they were from the Philippines.
Je pense que personne n'aurait pu me dire qu'ils viennent des
You would probably say Guadeloupe.
Vous auriez dit qu'ils viennent de Guadeloupe.
Next.
The countries around the Indian Ocean are dotted with remote tribes who look very different to everyone else. Could they shed any light on the first colonizers? To investigate, I'm on my way to Malaysia. The Semang tribes are believed to be the most ancient people in Malaysia. And they do look different from other Malaysians. And a small group of people hanging on to a traditional life. Could they be a relic of that first migration east from Africa. Now, this is a selection of typical Malaysian faces, and you can see these people are quite light-skinned, quite East Asian looking in their appearance. And this is a Semang man, and the Semang are completely different looking. They live in Malaysia, but they don't look like the rest of the population at all. They're much darker skinned. Some people have even gone as far as to say that they look African in appearance. And I just wonder whether their appearance is telling us something about their ancient ancestry. Stephen's research tells us that the ancestors of the Semang were probably amongst the first modern humans to come through here. And not only that, the genetics suggests that that vanguard moved surprisingly rapidly, getting all the way from Africa to Malaysia in the space of just a few thousand years. There are other tribes thought to have ancient roots as well. Together, they are like distant echoes of that first migration, a journey that began in Africa, continued through India, and round the coast to Malaysia.
May I help you?
We'll be asking the questions, old man. Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
I have told you.
Are you deaf?
No, you is blind.
I'm not blind, you blind.
That is what I just said.
You just said what?
I did not say what. I said you.
That's what I'm asking you.
And you is answering.
Shut up! You!
Yes?
Not you, him! What's your name?
Me.
Yes, you!
I am me. He's me. And I'm you.